All right, welcome back, everybody, to episode 12 of the Metal and Mash podcast. And
so we're continuing our 2000s journey.
Yeah, so last time we talked about songs that made a big impact on me in the first half of the 2000s, the first 10 years of the 2000s. And then today we're going to go with some of Adam's favorite songs from that time period.
And this is a great time frame, I think. We saw a lot of changes in the metal world. Both Aaron and I being similar age, we had a chance to really start to express ourselves a little bit more under the thumb of familial restriction.
Indeed.
Not that I had a whole lot, but anyway. But again, kind of continuing, we had a conversation in that last episode about with Rob Arnold and Wild Turkey. We took a shot, first shot ever.
Yep.
So I wanted to continue this into my section where we're actually highlighting Wild Turkey Rare Breed, which honestly I've never shot it before, so that was a first that last episode, because this is one that is going to always be a staple in my bar as a sipper. It is amazing.
Yeah, it tastes really good, man.
So I have Wild Turkey
Expertly crafted
101 at home. That's a mixer for me. This Wild Turkey Rare Breed is 116.8 proof. It's their standard mash bill, which is a 75 corn, 13 barley, 12% malted rye. And there's no age statement, but it says it's a blend between 6, 8, and 12-year whiskeys. And I remember buying this a year ago-ish. So I don't go through bottles quick because I buy a lot of bottles and I just keep trying them and not throw anything away. Mm-hmm. This is rich. It is it got some smoke. It's got some toffee. This is honestly one of my favorite, just straight sip and pours, man.
Well, good. Keeping in that frame of mind with the Wild Turkey that Rob Arnold from Chimera graced us with, we're going to go ahead and listen to some more Chimera.
So,
because I mean, why the hell not?
Why not?
They're seriously a top 5, if not top 3, of my favorite bands in that time period, and I'll always respect and love everything they put out. This is a track called Bloodlust,
which I recommended you cover on your channel, and you did.
And I did. Yeah. And Rob, I actually sent it to Rob, and I think there was something that maybe I played slightly, I don't want to say wrong, but maybe slightly different. And he actually did a little video after that to kind of show me where the error of my ways. So I appreciate that, Rob. Thank you very much. Yeah. Without addressing it to me, he's being nice. He's such a nice guy.
I mean, if he corresponded with you on the whole idea.
Yeah, we talked several times, man.
That's awesome.
I enjoy talking with him because I think mostly because he'll put out videos sort of like this where he's going through albums and bands that have really made a big impact on him, and it's almost always the same shit that I'm into.
Right.
I think he is relatively close to our age. I think 43, 44, maybe around that area.
That riff.
Yeah, dude, that riff's perfect. It's so simple and so just fucking perfect.
And the drums, when they do the lead-in.
He and Andals had Kevin Talley here, but Andals as well. Like him, Kevin, and Andal, they had this. Not that Ricky from Soilwork had any, bad vibe with the guys. I mean, when I saw them, they were great. But
right.
They just they had a really unique way of just sort of feeding off of each other, And I think. I might be wrong on this, but I feel like maybe Kevin, correct me if I'm not, Rob, but did Kevin have something to do with your newest releases? Not with your solo work. I know that was Andals, but did he do anything on the Elite? Who's the drummer on the Elite? Let me know in the comments if you can.
It's nice to be able to have that as a source,
Yeah, the real fucking source.
No, right. Yeah. Have you ever seen those videos where I've seen a lot with metal people where they talk to the artist about what's on their Wikipedia page?
Yeah.
The true or false. I think that's great.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's great. And it's just funny what people write down as gospel. It's just great.
One of the things that's cool about Rob is that he is just a fucking metal nerd, just like us, man. Like when I
love
listen to
nerds.
some of his stuff, like even he'll tell you, he's like, man, I just geek over this shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's just awesome.
I think having nerds in any category is hilarious, and I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna go up to Strongsville and shout him out, see if he wants to have a drink.
Love that.
You heard it. Let's go. Let's party.
So, something I want to see, since you've been doing all of our editing, I feel like a picture of Matthew McConaughey behind the Wild Turkey. Because Wild Turkey, isn't that like his thing? I think that's like his thing.
I'll see if I can find that. I'll put it right here. You saw it right there.
Right. So, I could be 100% wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it's Wild Turkey that he's a big fan of. So, anyway.
I know he drives Cadillacs in his commercials.
Right.
I think, or maybe they're Lincolns. I think it's Lincolns.
It's Lincoln because was it Lincoln Lawyer, right? Wasn't that a movie that he did? It's called The Lincoln Lawyer, where he's driving around and he basically does his services out of the back of a car.
I love this shit right here, dude.
Dude, this song. So, I would say that of guitar solos, if I had to choose my top 3, I honestly can't think of my third one. But my first one would be this song, and my second one would be Eyes to See and Ears to Hear by Morbid Angel. Because they have 2 solos in that song. They're both freaking spectacular. But this solo, and honestly, why I requested you doing this song on your cover, even though I know you're a rhythm guy, I really wanted to see you try to do this solo.
Sorry, I didn't.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to be an easy solo.
Well, I mean, Homeboy is a good guitar player, man.
Well, yeah.
He can play.
Now, I have faith in you, and I think that if you gave it a solid go.
If I like, focus, I could probably figure out, I can figure out quite a bit of stuff. Like, I'm not the most technically proficient guitar player, but I can play,
Yes, you can. And go to his channel,
check out
and you will see it.
YouTube at The Haunted One. Those drum fills are the shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob kills it right here, dude.
I love this guitar solo, man.
See, yes, Rob is shreds, but I've always gravitated to the rhythm behind solos.
Well, sure.
And there's that little section right there, and all that's going through, and then he's like, giving the solo space to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Love that riff, dude. Wow, wow. Rob, was it you or Matt that came up with that rhythm? Let me know. One of the things that I thought was the ultimate sign of respect for Camaro, though, is that I read an article one time during the height of this era, and Kerry King was talking about bands that he actually liked, bands that he disliked, the time of music at the time and all that, like the way things were going. And the first band he mentioned was Camaro. I like Camaro, he said.
Wow.
And I was like, I do too, Kerry.
I do too. But see, I love it when people let you know, especially someone like Kerry King, who's at the height of like a pinnacle as far as a genre goes.
Yeah, they created
to be able to tell you what they like and they listen to when they're not in there creating.
Yeah, because I mean, he was basically just saying, I don't listen to most of this shit that's out right now, but I like Camaro. I'm like, yeah, dude, me too.
Because it's always been a thought, especially as a younger kid. Did Metallica sit at home and only jam their CD? No, they didn't.
No.
Because they made that. They don't probably sit there and
they'll sit there and tell you that they were listening to other things around them because they wanted to play harder, faster.
Right. They wanted to get influence.
Yeah.
I like that ting.
Yeah. That ride cymbal, that big bell ride. Ting, 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 ting. That's from Pantera. Now,
I never wanted the world to be better.
Dude. What a fucking track, man.
So, quick question for you.
Yeah.
In case people haven't figured it out, we haven't changed clothes. So we do 2 shoots in a row.
Yep.
So we just did episode 11. Now we're doing 12. After doing the sweet from that Knob Creek maple, smell this. I get a lot of like tobacco and leather.
I still smell maple in my cup.
You got a different cup.
I don't know what the hell.
No, actually, it's the same cup. You just changed ice.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
Do you get like more of a I think the
leather, yeah, I can smell that.
The excessive sweet on that maple really, I think, made me appreciate the deeper, not sweet notes, because I don't get any sweet off of this, probably because I have nothing but the maple sweet left behind. Mm-hmm. So this is really deep.
I enjoy it as a sipper.
This is one of my... this really is good. Still definitely top 10, 5. I don't know. I have so many whiskeys now. It's hard to say what my top 10 is. But
speaking of top 10 and 5s and all those types of things, this track that we're going to listen to next comes from a record that I've always had a special place in my heart for since it came out in the early 2000s. And this is the first A Perfect Circle record.
Oh.
And the first single that A Perfect Circle ever did, Judith. Dude. Josh Rand. I think they had Troy Van Leeuwen at the time as guitar players. Killer, man.
Dude, have you ever seen this video?
Yeah, I think so. A long time ago. I don't remember anything about it.
Like 2-3 minutes in, there's this gap, and the bassist is a girl, and I think there's something sexy about a female in metal. And there's a gap where she pulls her hair back into a pony just to be able to, like, just jam it, dude. And it's...
I think they do. They did have a girl bass player.
Yep.
Maybe they do still. I don't know.
Maybe. Their last album was in 2018.
Fuck your God,
your Lord, your Christ.
Love it. I remember just feeling so, like, profoundly spoken to when I heard this. I was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, to just blatantly throw it out there.
Just fucking throw it out there. It's the first time that I feel like...
with clean lyrics.
Yeah, that I'd ever heard that and was like, wow, this guy's just fucking throwing it down, man. He's
Maynard.
Speaking for all of us.
Maynard, man. He's a genius. I hate to say, 3 bands he's the lead singer for. He's in his late 50s, early 60s. He just did a tour for his 60th birthday, that's what it was, where they had all 3 of his bands play a venue, which would have been fucking killer. That would have been such a great show to go to.
I agree. I would love to have seen them on this, this era.
Yeah. My brother got a chance to see them, and I envy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, a little FOMO.
This whole record just matters so much to me. Like, I still go back and listen to it from time to time, and tracks like Magdalena and Thinking of You, Thinking of You, Thinking of You. It's heavy as shit. Dude.
Yeah, Brynja. I mean, that whole album is great.
Woo! 3 Libras.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole album is just, it's one of those you can just listen to the whole thing.
It's a good record. Christ is a God. Gosh. You know he's the one who did this to you.
Thought to question
what a
why.
Wonderful record. I just love this record.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this record?
Which is, again,
listen to this shit.
It shows to me a lot of different things, but the fact, and I've had this conversation many times. You're not a Tool fan, but you love this band.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It's just different,
It is different.
and that's the brilliance of how musicianship can be so varied. And even you talking about Chimera, of how they've had different members throughout their existence, and it does influence the outcome.
Yeah, it totally changes the game.
Right.
Man. I look at it from a perspective of, if you listen to the first Let the Guilty Hang record, you'll know that I'm not on it except for one track. I wrote one song on the first Let the Guilty Hang record.
Okay.
But the second Let the Guilty Hang record, I have a lot of riffs on that record. It's a big difference.
Well,
it's a massive difference.
A riff is a big part of metal.
And, not to discredit anything on the first LTG record, that record was great. My buddy Bevar can write a riff, man.
Yeah.
It's just it's a different. He and I always worked so well together when we were coming up with stuff. Like, if we had a little idea, it was easy for both of us to just be like, let's try to take it this way and see where it ends up.
Right.
And that's what's cool about, good bands that work together to have a lot of, contributors. A lot of people don't know, but a lot of bands, like their drummers are contributors to their riffs. Like, for example, like Charlie Benante writes a majority of Anthrax riffs.
Okay.
That's weird. Like, you would think that it's all Scott Ian or, Danny Spitz back in the day, but no, I mean, Charlie writes a shitload of riffs.
Well, again, talk about the musicianship, and the drum has to be able to carry the rhythm with the bass for you to be that capable to be able to say, this is what you need to do, so that way I can highlight what I do.
See, I didn't really realize that was a thing until I started hearing about those kind of bands, because all the drummers that I ever worked with were just leaving it up to us.
Right.
And, sometimes that's difficult. We all get a little writer's block from time to time, but to have that third or fourth perspective, which I think this next band probably has as much input from each one of their members, at least the synchronicity that they have has to be something like that. They had to be at the time. This is Mudvayne on their second record. The song, the record is The End of All Things to Come, and the song is called Scrying. I know it was one of my favorite tracks when I first heard this record.
This song, man. Well, and the meaning, do you know what scrying is?
I do not.
So scrying is a little bit more of a Nordic piece where it's a means of future telling, almost like a tarot or a palm reading. I have what's called scrying stones, and they have ruins on them, and you roll them, and it's a way of kind of seeing the future, predicting things. And so this, that's a lot of what the essence of this. But the drums, dude, this guy's fucking all over the place. I love this fucking track.
These three guys writing this music, I don't know what. I don't know how they come up with the things that they do. Like, for example, just listen to this in the background. It's very drum, very bass heavy, and the guitar is just kind of making noise in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But Greg Tribbett, he was really good at making riffs as well. It's not always needed. Let some of the other instruments breathe a little bit. They had a really good sense of mind for that.
I'll never forget watching the video of when they played, was it Dig?
Yeah.
At the Grammys or some shit. They came out all in white shirts, all covered in blood.
Oh, I remember.
I think it scared a lot of people. It was definitely one of the first of their kind. And that song's heavy as shit. That was off their first album, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And we're seeing these guys. I think you're going. This is the part of the Megadeth tour in September. Yeah, I'm stoked to see these guys again.
Yeah, I've seen Mudvayne a couple times. First time was on that Ozfest 2001 tour that I mentioned in the other episodes. Funny story about that. While Mudvayne was playing, there was a fairly larger female that jumped up on the back of a much smaller male and was trying to do the shoulder thing. She face planted. Yo, you just had to see it, man. You had to be there. Me and my buddy Richard, well, he's my cousin. He's like my brother, my best friend. We were standing beside each other. We just happened to see it and was like, oh, shit, dude. Because she hit so hard. I hate laughing about it because I feel terrible. But at the same time, it was perfect.
I think situational awareness is something that I've never had a problem with laughing when people lack that function.
Yeah.
And when you're bigger than the person you're getting on top of, I don't care what your gender is,
dude. It was not the right match.
No. So I think that we can all agree that a pyramid would not do well standing on its tip.
No.
And that sounds to me like that's what that was.
Houses are not meant to be built on sand.
Yeah.
That was not going to go well.
No, it did. Well, it didn't go well for her. Everybody else.
The people around, we all had a good giggle.
Well, I hope she's okay in the end, because I don't ill will most people.
It's your turn. I love this. That was always my favorite part of this song.
That comeback, yeah.
that fucking riff rules, dude. Do you remember the back row? Yes. Was it your son? Yeah, dude. I saw Mudvayne in 2003 on the. It was a one of the Metallica Summer Sanitarium tours. I feel like they would have been touring for this record, I would think.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
slightly after. I think it was in the transition between this. This album came out in 2002, so it would, and that tour was in 2003. So it would have been between this and when they put out songs like Determined and stuff.
Right.
So they started taking a little bit of a different change after this.
Right. Happy, I think, was a big one off that album.
Now.
Yeah. So interesting that you say Determined. There's a show that I really want to do for both of us called our anthem songs. And Determined is on that list for me because for me, my anthem songs are songs that are kind of your thought process. 2 to 3 minutes. What gets you stoked? It's going to be what I try to use when I am trying to go for a PR in the gym or something like that. And dude, Determined is definitely up there. And as a matter of fact, that song had a girl break up with me.
Oh, yeah.
Weirdly enough, because I use it as my
Undetermined.
I use that as my song. When remember back in MySpace when you could customize a song.
Put your song
yeah.
yeah.
Fuck you, Facebook, you piece of shit, secondary junk. Because MySpace was the dude. You could actually customize. MySpace was so much better.
I learned how to use HTML and all this shit to build my perfect MySpace page with all these pictures.
Right.
And shit on it.
I thought MySpace was so much better. You know, fuck Zuckerberg. He's a twat waffle.
He took it all over. All right, next up on the list, I think that this album sort of changed the game for me and my guys, at least. And the time that we were writing album number 2, this album was coming out, and it's called, the album is Obscene, Meshuggah. This track is called Bleed. God, dude.
It just comes in, man. And I know I've chosen 2 songs that are probably the most popular song for that band.
Who cares?
But I don't care because this song rips.
It's a game
ass.
changer.
This song just tears it up.
I remember when this album came out, me and all my guys were like, everybody who's writing heavy metal music right now has got to go back to the fucking studio.
Yeah.
You got to go back and figure out how to top this.
Yeah.
Dude, it was just like the most insane thing out at the time.
So I like when people are like, what is gent? And they're like, it's Meshuggah. No one else matters. No one else does it.
Yeah.
It's like they should just be encapsulated as their own thing. And when you want to talk about polyrhythm, Thomas Hake.
They're the most. That's how I understand complete heart blocks.
Yeah, that's what you said. I mean, if you listen as we go, there's a section in here where it's almost like like the bass drum and the snare hit, like they start progressively getting further apart, and then they end up syncing up, and then they progressively. It's just so fucking brilliant. And when he answers, I saw an interview with him where he's talking about top polyrhythm, and he said, I see what you're saying regarding polyrhythm, but you're looking at it here. When I look at how I drum, I look at the whole song.
Right.
So it all does sync. It
does. It's
over the whole process. It's not just it's not per bar. I'm looking at it per song, which is, again, a different mindset, and I love it. And
it's hard to kind of it's all over the map. And one thing that I remember hearing about this record is that Bill Burr actually went to see Meshuggah.
And I was actually just going to bring this up.
About to bring that up. Yeah. Bill goes and sees Meshuggah, and he's like, this is insanity.
Yeah. Because I remember he said, I'm naturally an angry person.
Yeah.
So me going and listening to angry music may not be the best thing, but he said, this is probably the best show I've ever been to. And he goes, I was standing there next to Danny Carey.
Yep.
Who's the drummer for Tool, who's possibly, arguably, one of the better drummers of all time, watching arguably one of the better drummers of all time, and Danny Carey's mind is blown watching him.
Dude.
And he goes, Bill Burr said, it's interesting because it didn't matter who you looked at in the crowd, everybody's head was bobbing to the music, but no one's head was bobbing at the same time.
Yeah.
Because
everybody latches onto one thing to feel.
Yes, because the drum, the bass, the guitar, they're all doing their own thing that sync up eventually. So it works.
That's where I'm at.
I'm on the hi-hat. But that...
Yeah, with those guitars, I mean, you could just be thrashing. You know?
Yeah.
The first time, high register up there, too. Like, just hitting open notes, but like... That riff.
Yeah, not a drop tune.
It's nothing major. Like, they're not doing anything, like, super technical other than the rhythm hand.
Yeah.
My guys and I always used to joke that they probably, like, jerked off a bunch to get these massive forearms to be able to... They had fucking pie forearms.
Right. I mean, let us know in the comment section what your masturbation habits are.
Oh, shit.
And just that weird ambient background.
Yep.
I mean, I can't remember, and I'm open to being wrong here. Are they Swedish?
Yep.
Is it Swedish?
Yeah.
Didn't you want to do
everything Sweden, man?
I would add them to the Sweden list then.
Yeah, dude. They just I don't know what it is about Sweden. Maybe they've got a delicious bourbon that they all drink or something.
No, bourbon's American, so they can't. They can have a whiskey.
Well, maybe they created a Swedish bourbon from an American recipe.
Maybe. I mean, they could. I did.
There's something in the water in fucking Sweden, is what I'm getting at here.
Well, it's probably because they're inside because it's cold as fuck for like 9 months a year.
Dude, they just write such fucking incredible music, man.
Yeah, I mean, when it's cloudy and cold and dark, and I mean, you're inside. You masturbate and make music.
What about this track? Masturbating to this track. Jesus.
I mean, here's your edging section.
Yeah.
So slow down.
Holy shit. A little off the rails here.
Bourbon for breakfast.
Man, they're insane, and I think one of the things that's like really appealing to me is that while they have the insane like backbeat and all the shit that's going on, you mentioned the ambient sort of like this is a guitar solo, but he's just hitting like little random notes here and there, just floating across.
Yeah,
it's almost like he's like in a dream sequence, floating across the fretboard. Like when they were writing a song, they were thinking like, how can we put a dream sequence out?
Yeah,
you know, like that's what I feel when I think of it.
So, and then when they come out of this, I feel like the lead singer went just extra angry. He's saying the same damn thing, but it just seems like it's his next round of lyrics is just so much more anger behind
just to put a little emphasis.
Right. But this is just one of the most unique solo sections of a song. Like you said, I'm
telling you, man, when we first heard this, and actually one of the songs we have on, if you look up there, the Let the Guilty Hang In Tongues record, one of the songs we have on there is called Wolverines, and it was inspired directly by the song. When we heard this song, we wrote a riff. We tried to like make our own little Wolverine section or bleed section.
Awesome. I'll have to check. I'll have to listen to that song now with that in mind.
Go listen to Wolverines, and you'll hear it, man.
Okay.
It's there. I remember we wrote that in at a little music store in Logan called Logan Music, and I was playing a Schecter. It's like a double cutaway thing. I don't know. And my buddy Beavar, he had some kind of like ESP. I think it was his George Lynch, maybe some kind of ESP. Yeah. And we were listening to this shit, and it's like, fuck. We can't compete, so we have to rip off somehow.
What is it? Imitation is the best form of flattery.
The highest form of flattery, for sure.
Yeah, this and the album art for this album is pretty.
Yeah, just the guy who's
stellar.
Like,
yeah.
And then the abrupt stop at the end. Funny thing about abrupt stops, I remember, you know the song that Meshuggah has called Future Breed Machine?
Yes.
The end of that song, where it's just like, dun, 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 they're just doing those chugs over and over again.
Right.
Count them. There's 53 chugs.
Really?
Yeah, I counted one day.
And you remembered it.
Metal nerd moment.
Metal nerd.
Moving on. You know, this is fun. I'm glad that you mentioned this because I loved when this came out. This is the Roadrunner United section.
Oh, man. This whole album.
Oh, my God, dude. So cool that they did this. And because I've never heard of another label doing something like this. Do you know of any?
So I've heard of other labels doing like a best of from their individual signed bands, but not where they put their different individual members from different bands.
Team leader.
Yeah, it's basically you
create your own.
You have like a
band
super group
from the artists.
Yeah,
it's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
So this is called Constitution Down, and this is Joey Jordison's team.
Joey Jordison. Yeah.
So let's go.
So we had conversation about setting this whole section up, and then you couldn't resist. You're like, I have to have a fifth song.
Yeah.
Send me, and your fifth song was Slipknot.
Yep.
And so when you sent me, I didn't even question it because I had already.
No, it was no hesitation.
No, because I already had a spreadsheet of us doing this, and it was originally I had 5 songs per person. And this is the song I was like, maybe I cut that one. And then when you said a fifth song, this was immediate.
Do you know who else was in his group? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head, I do not.
I'll have to look that up.
And I've really enjoyed going into our comment section to fix the times I fuck up on things I say. So I'm not going to say because I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know.
I'll post a picture of Joey Jordison's team right now.
The beauty of you editing.
Yeah, man. Joey was the man, dude. He was so good. And my friends were always like, nah, he's not good. He's just fast. I'm like, you're insane, man. Joey was a bad motherfucker.
Yeah. And he's a little dude.
Yeah, he was so tiny.
Fucking MS, man. Fuck that disease, dude.
Yeah.
But you know what? You try to keep a 250 beat per minute bass drum without triggers, and you tell me you're not good.
Oh, dude, he was insane. He was so good. Yes, he was fast, but it was precise.
But he's not fast here.
No.
I mean, not excessively, and he's got great fills. It's like when people say shit about Lars, which, if I remember right, didn't Joey stand in for Lars?
He did. I was going to throw that in, yeah. Joey did. So when Lars was sick at the 2006 Download Festival, most people listening to the show probably know this. I don't know if they do or not. But, Dave Lombardo played 2 songs. He played Battery and Seek and Destroy. And then Lars's drum tech, which I have to look this guy up. I actually thought about this earlier. His name's Fleming Larson. And he was Lars's drum tech. And he played one song with him. I can't remember. Maybe For Whom the Bell Tolls. I'm not sure.
Did he choose him because Lars is in his last name?
That's funny. They're probably both Denmarkian. We'll see. But then the other 8 songs, since they only did an abbreviated set, they played 11 songs. So the other 8 songs Joey did. And I've seen the video of Joey playing Creeping Death, and it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Because, Joey's throwing in all... You could tell Joey was having the time of his life, obviously. He's playing drums for fucking Metallica.
Right.
Anybody who gets that chance, even Dave Lombardo, who's grew up with these guys, was like tripping, like playing like bizarre shit because, fuck yeah, I'm playing with Metallica. I'm taking advantage of this moment.
Absolutely.
And so Joey is just going to town on that stuff, dude. And he's an insane drummer.
He is an insane. Well, the double bass he throws down on that part that just happened is just. It's a slow.
Yeah, there's no. And like you said, no triggers. That's the thing.
Yeah. It's not like some of the stuff we hear nowadays where people are hitting 300, 350 beats per minute because they're triggered. He's just laying it down.
And that's what I love about Eloy, too. Like, the drummer that everybody loves now, the most prolific drummer in metal right now, Eloy Casagrande, drums for Slipknot now, was for Sepultura. The guy's a goddamn beast. And when I watch his feet work, like, he's doing that shuffle technique.
He does the wave, yeah.
Yeah, he does the shuffle wave technique with his feet. And there's no triggers, dude.
No.
He's just hitting them hard as shit.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he doesn't miss leg day because if he's playing drums, he's on leg day.
All the time. He probably wears leg weights, like 15-pound leg ankle weights. Could you imagine that?
No.
Like 5 pounds is tough,
Right.
I'm not saying that he uses 15 pounds. I have no idea. But to have that type of precision, he probably does. He's got calf muscles that are fucking insane. That's a silk riff right there.
Yeah, I genuinely felt you were stoked that this song got added.
Dude. Because I loved this record when it came out, man. Like, I loved hearing all the different groups, and I remember Rob Flynn's group had Andals as a drummer, and there was Joey's group, and I forget who else was a team leader, but I know he had, like, Rob had Howard Jones do a song.
It's like 18 songs on that album. If you don't
Matt
have
Heafy,
this, Matt Heafy has one.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend anybody out there who wants to hear just a great. It's essentially a collab album.
It's a collab album of full of fucking super groups, dude.
Yeah, all from Roadrunner.
And they're awesome.
Roadrunner United.
Did Max Cavalier? No, Dino had a group.
Dino had a group.
Max
Yep. Because is Dino in Ill?
No, Dino was Fear Factory.
Yes. Yeah.
So Dino's Fear Factory, Brujeria.
Yep.
I want to say maybe. Was Dino in Nail Bomb? I don't know. I'm going to have to go look that up. I'll put up the picture if that was correct.
Yeah, Nail Bomb. I don't know how to forget about them.
But I know he was in Brujeria in Fear Factory. But damn, dude, what an episode. Thanks for the tunes.
2 in a row, man. Thanks, Great bourbon, great tunes.
Make sure you go have some Wild Turkey Rare Breed.
Yes, pick some up. And they also have a Rare Breed Rye, which is on my list. I haven't found it here in West Virginia. So, episode 12.
Episode 12, Metal and Mash. Y'all know what to do. Like and subscribe if you want more, man. Check us out. See ya.
Enjoy.